All right, welcome back to Can I Launch a Movement in 12 Weeks? I'm so excited to be here today at the end of week 4, day 28. And man, this weeks have just been flying by. But we got a lot of stuff done. I'm really excited about the progress. There's a lot of steps that I wished I could have taken, and there's a lot of areas I thought, man, we would have been way further than we are right now. But great lessons has been learned throughout this week. So I made a statement last week that we're going to work on the content for the discovery phase of the Ocean program. So once people come into Ocean, what is the first thing that they're actually going to do? We want them to go onto the discovery journey. We want to make sure that they're in alignment with their identity. We want to make sure they're in alignment with their mission, their assignment. What do they have to build right now at this moment? Forget the bigger thing. What are your current assignment? And then how do you position that? How do you communicate that? Like that is the core of the discovery phase of Ocean, right? And so we had that layout, and this week main focus was to really jump into the content and the meat, really write that down, get it out of my system, years of what I've been going through, getting it out of my head, out of my system onto paper, so that we can take that and script a powerful training, so that we can create a workbook, so that we can have presentation slides and actually go into full on studio mode and shoot the whole course and give that as a great asset for people coming into Ocean. So that's the main thing we are building right now, right? But something happened. I also communicated we're going to jump directly into building Ocean's website as a whole, and then my wife just got flooded with work. A lot of stuff happened. It's like, oh man, babe, I'm not going to be able to help you with that website. Now I have built websites in the past, not many, but a little bit. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to take it in my own hands. I need to crush this. Time is running. I'm going to, I need to get onto this. And so what happened is just jumping to the website. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days went by, and I realized, oh man, you know what? This is so technical, and you want the presentation to look good. So there's that artistic vibe, and all of that just takes time, right? And I am a perfectionist. I want stuff to be high level, world class. And so what should have taken us way shorter just started to take longer. And a day go by, a second day, 3 day goes by, and I realized, you know what? I just have to stop. I have to stop. I have to go back to the drawing board. I have to go back to my calendar and make sure what are my actual next steps. And so this has been great lessons, because I think many people, it's so easy. Guys, I want you to know, if you build your own movement, it's like this. When you get overwhelmed by everything that you need to do, and you start putting 5% of your time here, 10% of your time here, and your time gets so divided when you realize a whole week's been passed and it doesn't feel like you've done anything. Yet, when you realize that, you need to stop. You need to stop everything, take a step back, go for a walk, get out in nature. As you can see, I'm not even recording this with the beautiful nature because it's raining so much outside. So I'm just like, hey, I'm just going to do it right here in our living room. And so the actions you need to take must be in alignment with the goal, and you need to focus on the stuff that's actually going to move the needle. So that's what I did not do. My first 3 days, I focused my time and attention on great stuff. It's very important, but is it the most important thing for right now this week? So Wednesday came, I'm like, I'm going to stop the website build for now. I actually made some great progress, but I had to stop because I need to put my time into the thing that's going to move the needle. And the thing that's going to move the needle is getting that content out of my system and writing the scripts so that we can actually put it into presentations and decide on a date when we're going to have full on studio day, film that so that we can actually have our first product build done. Once you've done that, then it's awesome, put it into a website, right? So it's just like priorities and timing. And sometimes it can feel so overwhelming, and you get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't really know what to do. So it was great for me, great lessons learned. Stop, pause, go back to the drawing board. What is the main needle mover? Put everything aside until this is done. And that's what I've done. So I'm so glad I got it out of my system. I'm at the moment busy with the scripts, which is great. So once that is done, next week we can just jump straight into the actual presentation slides, decide on a date, and make sure that we get that shooting day done. Hopefully at the end of next week, Friday, the shooting can happen, which will be awesome. Just getting that content out on a camera, high level, world-class presentations. And so I'm really excited about that, but I've learned great lessons. And I think I really want to talk about this just for 1 second. if you're a movement maker, if you're going to build anything, it's really important to keep the main thing the main thing. It's really important to have the capacity and the ability to stop yourself, to focus on the stuff that's going to move the needle. I love design. I love world-class design. I love all of that. And I think it's extremely important. Presentation, it's one of the values of Ocean, is really always doing the best when it comes to your presentation, right? In the building phase, you're always gonna have 100 things to do. In the building phase, you're easily gonna get overwhelmed. And what do you do when you get overwhelmed? Right, so I want to take 5 minutes and share with you one of the things I'm actually going to teach in the course, which is you need to break the hope deferred cycle, right? The hope deferred cycle. So Proverbs says that hope deferred makes the heart sick, right? Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but dreams fulfilled is a tree of life, right? Vision fulfilled is a tree of life. And most hidden leaders I know has been so hurt by themselves. It's not the devil, it's not their parents, there's no one they can blame except themselves, right? Like the blame on themselves, the extreme ownership for their own vision. And this hope deferred cycle that they allow in their life continually happening again and again and again. And nobody has ever taught them how to break that cycle. Most movement makers that has a voice and a calling and a message that can shake nations are stuck in their own head. They're stuck under other people's visions because of this exact cycle, right? And I'm going to quickly run through that because it's high value. Now, I don't want you to get caught in that. I saw how quickly it was for me, even this week, to get a lot of those emotions rushed up in my head because I just stuck in overwhelm. Thank God I know the cycle, and thank God I was just having the ability to discern that and say, no, just come back. Don't even entertain that. Come back, break the cycle, break the cycle, break the cycle, right? So the hope deferred cycle that kills your destiny, kills the word of your life, that kills the destiny of your life looks like this. Number one is you have a spark of vision. Right? You have a spark of vision. You're excited, you're inspired, you're excited with an idea or an opportunity, and your mind's racing. You can't even sleep. You write down, you dream, you make plans, and you're so hopeful. So in the beginning, the emotion you feel is, man, I'm hopeful. I'm so excited, right? What then happens is you wake up the next morning and the emotional hype is gone. It's like, man, I couldn't sleep because of all these emotions, and now that emotion is gone. So the emotional hype is gone, and the reality sets in of what it's actually going to take to make this happen. So you know the what and you know the why. You see what it's going to take to get there, and then you don't actually exactly know how to do that, right? You don't know how. Okay, that's so big, but what's my exact next best step? The overwhelm of the vision makes it you can't move, right? And so you feel totally overwhelmed. And then the emotion of hope suddenly gets replaced with emotions of fear, uncertainty, comparison. You start to look left and right. What are other people building? Or you're waiting for the right time, right? Like, maybe I should wait for the right time. And all of that causes you not to take immediate, proper action. And because you don't take action, anxiety just overwhelms you even more, right? So not just anxiety, but this is the third step in the cycle, is disappointment creeps in. Because just a few weeks ago, just the other day, you were so hopeful about this vision, and now you're still at the same place. So you're disappointed, right? So time passes, nothing moves forward, and every single day when you don't take action, the dream feels further and further and further away. And so what then happens is you make an agreement. You make an agreement with failure and you haven't even started yet. Most Oceans, most world-changing movement makers stuck in other people's visions is exactly in a state of failure and they haven't even started. They have so much agreements with their identity, so much agreements with who they are and the level of failure, and they haven't even started yet. It's such a sad reality, but it's true. And I know it because I know that cycle has been repeating in my life in many areas, right? And so what happens is you start to believe, maybe it wasn't for you. Oh yeah, it was just a good idea. Maybe it wasn't for you, or maybe you're not good enough. And so now the hope that turned into fear now turns into the emotion of disappointment. Now, when disappointment happens, many people don't know how to deal with that disappointment. How do you soothe the feeling of being disappointed in yourself, right? Because you know nobody else can take responsibility for this vision. It's been given to you. You are the person that needs to happen. So it's like, it's a level of self-resentment, right? Self-resentment kicks in. So you don't know how to deal with that disappointment. And so to ease the ache, you bury yourself in two things. Either in comfort. So you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to chill out. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to soothe yourself with comfort and comfortable stuff and not really focusing on your vision. Or what most Oceans do is they throw themselves into being busy. And the sad thing is they're not busy with the things they're supposed to be busy with. It's like me being focused on the Ocean website. That is really important, but it's not going to move the needle. Most Oceans is so busy then throwing themselves in support and their time and energy into other people's dreams, into serving other people's movements, right? And so because they're busy, their mind tells them, you're taking action, you are faithful, give themselves a pat on the back, you are doing really well. But at the end of the day, they are actually running away. They're running away from their own identity. They're running away from their own disappointment. They're running away from feelings of fear and disappointment and hurt and self-resentment. They're not facing the Ocean in the mirror. They're out of alignment with their true movement maker identity, and they can't understand why they're depressed and angry and frustrated, because they are in a space of compromise. But on the outside, it can look great. They're serving, they're showing up, they're building other people's movements. But on the inside, they lie awake at night and they're like, oh man, I know I'm not walking in the fullness of what I'm called for, right? I don't know about you, but this is really relevant in my life. And then what then happens is the loss of hope. So you started out with a feeling of hope and excitement for this vision, and suddenly you don't feel that emotion anymore. You lose all hope. Another promise feels unfulfilled. Your confidence fades and your self-sabotage increases even more. So the feeling of hope gets replaced with feeling of bitterness, of anger, and self-resentment sets in because you know you are capable of more. You come into that agreement, and another evidence that just says, see, I told you, you're not as great as you thought you were. Right? And people come into the agreement. Instead, it's a decision time. The decision you need to make in this space where you don't know how to deal with your bitterness, your anger, your resentment, while you're busy just escaping into other people's visions, while you bury your dream and eventually jump from other people's movements, or you just jump into a new idea. So here's the decision. When you find yourself at that point, you're going to have to make a decision. Am I going to jump at the next opportunity? Am I going to continue throwing myself into other people's visions and building their dream and look busy and feel successful, or at least feel helpful? Or am I going to take extreme ownership and go back in spite of everything I'm feeling? Sacrifice all your feelings on the altar and go back. Say, in spite of what I'm feeling, I know for what I know, that was the vision that I felt. So go back and then take the first step of action towards that goal. If you don't know how, well, then that is the first thing you do. My first step is I need to figure out how so that I can take my next step. So instead of just allowing that dream to die, that vision to die, that idea to die, you refuse to continue the cycle. So many Oceans need to break the cycle of the hope deferred cycle that kills their destiny. And you need to come into this decision time. So you're standing in front of a decision right now. Am I just going to wait and get another idea? Because if another idea comes up, that's all right. You can jump into that new idea. But if you're not going to break the cycle in the way how this cycle works, then you're just going to repeat the cycle. And that's where most hidden leaders are stuck. That's why they throw themselves in just staying hidden in other people's movements, staying in their own heads. Right? Because they are out of alignment with their true identity and they don't know how to deal with that emotion. So, very strongly to you today, in spite of what you're feeling, overwhelmed, if you feel like a failure, I don't care how you feel, who you are, what you do, I want to tell you right now, you have to slow down, take a step back, and focus on the stuff that's going to move the needle. Because anxiety can easily overwhelm you, and then if you realize that action trumps anxiety, it really gets easy. Just take the next smallest of smallest steps. Will surge you with accomplishment, will surge your emotions with, man, I'm one step closer, and that you can do, right? So that was just me this week. It was just me spending so much time on stuff that did not move the needle, having to go through this cycle, stop all the emotions, and listen to the vision. I don't listen to my emotions. You listen to the vision. You listen to what the word. You come into agreement with your true identity, and you take the next step. So once I've done that, boom, anxiety left. I'm excited. I'm so excited of seeing thousands of oceans is going to go through, coming into Ocean, whose dreams are going to be awakened, right? Whose vision is going to be awakened, so they can build what they were supposed to build, that they can say what they were supposed to say when nobody else was giving them the permission to step into their own leadership. That Ocean will serve as a catalyst for people to step into what they were born to build, right? Not to throw themselves just in other people's visions, but to be faithful to their own leadership, to be faithful to their own identity, to step into the very thing they were meant to step in. So that's us. Man, we had a great week. This coming week, we're going to work on the scripts, we're going to work on the slides, and hopefully see if we can have a full-on media day and shoot this course for people to get into alignment with their identity, get alignment with their current mission, and get clarity and alignment, sorry, not clarity, get alignment with how to present that, like the communication alignment. So that's going to be great. I'm really excited about that, really going deep on that process. But this week's going to be phenomenal. So thanks so much, guys. We are at week 4, jumping into week 5. Follow, like, subscribe. If you're an Ocean, if you're a movement maker that want to be part of a community where everybody gets empowered to build their own thing, and not just and support one another while we do it, instead of just keeping ourselves small and trying to fit into other people's movements, right? Like, you are an Ocean, you're a movement maker, and your one journey is meant to influence nations.